Hey everyone, welcome to our daily gratitude and affirmation practice. Happy New Year! Yay! Come celebrate with me on this fine day with Dunkin' Donuts. Hey! Listen guys. So, I have so many gratitudes already. Let's start with last night. So, number one gratitude. Oh my gosh, you guys, I think you're gonna fall. Please stay. Okay, so, yesterday, I went for a, oh God, I knew it. Phone tricked me. Hopefully it can stay like that. We'll try that. Okay. So yesterday, filmed the video in the morning before work. It was number one gratitude. I think, we might as well just go for 20 gratitudes today. It's a new year, fresh start. But number one gratitude, new year, fresh start. Okay, cool. We'll do that for number one. Okay, so yesterday, after I did the video with you guys, it was a work day. Number two, it was a very peaceful work day. Number three, I'm also really grateful that we live in a society now where we can get groceries delivered to the house. I have only done it twice. Once when I was not feeling good at all. And then yesterday, I was like, you know what? Like, I have to use up some of the ingredients. I might as well try and make some chicken noodle soup. So I had a whole thing of chicken that I needed to use up. So... or just chicken soup. It wasn't actually chicken noodle soup. So grateful I got groceries delivered. And then spent about 2 hours prepping everything and getting like the soup ready and then having it slow cook. So that was really nice. After that, and the soup itself, number three, was so good. I have leftovers, so I'll be eating that today, tomorrow, the next day. I shared it with my roommates. So soup was really good. The next thing, I stayed up till about almost 2 a.m. finishing the visuals for this year's content. And that'll be a number 4. So grateful and glad I got that done. The other thing, number 5, grateful that I am taking care of myself because I told myself whatever time I stay up to, I'm getting at least 8.5 hours worth of sleep. So I calculated that out, took that time. I'm feeling really refreshed today. So that's number 5. Number 6 for the day. So grateful for Virgo Gems and Crystal live shows. That kept me company almost the entire time. Kept me company up until the last 2.5 months of content. And what a joy just to watch that, do content at the same time. Also, number 6, I am so grateful for my sister-in-law. We both watch the shows now. We're both into crystals. We both talk about, we're both into fantasy books. Like, I'm just so grateful. One, that my brother found someone who just truly is just such a gem, but also so grateful that I have her in my life and we get to connect on that level. Number 7 for the day. Which actually reminds me, I'm really excited. My crystals should be coming soon. I love getting packages of crystals. And after content, my goal for this month is to start putting the crystals up on my website. I have a ton of inventory. My plans have kind of changed when it comes to the inventory because for a while I was collecting things in order to do more of like a package deal, and now I'm just going to sell them individually, and we will revisit that idea later. So I cannot wait to start getting them up and start selling them and just share my love and joy of crystals and of beautiful things. So that's going to be number 7. Number 8. I woke up a few times, but towards the morning, I slept pretty decent. And I had some crazy dreams. And when I woke up, I started researching. I don't know if I'm ready to share what I was researching yet, but it's kind of like the web we weave. It has to do with a couple different people, all experiencing the same things right now. And number 9, I'm just so grateful that I was able to connect with my friend Alex, because she's actually someone that it's connected to, and she gave me some ideas, and I was just researching. I was researching Russia and Siberia and the Taiga forest. I hope I'm saying that right. So I can share this piece. I've been getting visions of this forest that is just very wise and ancient, and there's like this specific vision I get of these like trees, and they're like coniferous. I think that's the word, coniferous trees, but it's like these thick pine fir, like very green forest. And mixing that with the person who I go and take lessons from, I usually talk to him about all of this, and he had asked me a question once of like, what's the area of nature that calls to you the most? Because one of my life missions is to like really help preserve land, and I just feel very connected to nature. I always have since I was a kid. And so I keep getting this vision of this forest, and I immediately told him after thinking about it, I was like, northern Russia, Siberia, like I'm not very familiar with that landmass. But I mentioned this to my friend Alex, who also is very intuitively gifted. And she was like, oh yeah, like I grew up there. There's a forest. And I don't know if she said the word to me or not, but that's what I was researching earlier today. And just educating myself. And apparently, according to Google, we think of the Amazon rainforest as the largest expanse of vegetation and nature biome that we have. It might be the most diverse, but I was seeing things that the Taiga forest in Siberia, Russia, and it kind of expands across all of that northern continent. And even I don't know because I saw on Wikipedia, Taiga, it also is the expanse of northern Canada, and right between like the Arctic and then lower Canada. So I don't know if that also is what they call that biome. But anyways, the one in Russia, I was seeing that it's probably even bigger than the rainforest, the Amazon, which I thought was actually kind of crazy. So again, don't know 100% if that's true or not, but just looking at the sheer size, I would say it's pretty comparable. So I just feel drawn to this area right now, and the other pieces of it, maybe I'll share at a later date. But I was researching into it, just getting connected with it. I was researching a couple of other things, so that's what I was doing when I woke up. So what are we even on? I think 9 was talking with Alex. So talking with Alex, having like a good way to wake up today. Number 10, I am so grateful that I am really just throughout my day seeking to give back and nourish myself and listen to myself. So content, I've been really working to get that done. I also yesterday I already scheduled all the posts for today. And by the end of today, my goal is to get all the rest of the posts scheduled. And once that's done, like I'm fully done with content. So, yeah. But I was thinking to myself yesterday, I just felt very agitated and kind of cranky. You know how when a kid, they're kind of past their limits, and, they're having, they're starting to have what we would call a tantrum, which I wouldn't really even say it's a tantrum. It's just a very genuine expression of like where they're at energetically. And so that's how I felt. So I needed to, I don't know why there's a cop that's just circling around, but I don't think there was already somebody else at the park, so I guess I'll wait to see if he comes up to me. But anyways, so, where was I at? Oh, so I realized that that's where I was yesterday, and therefore, I decided that today I wouldn't put any expectations on myself. I recognize that I need to do something to fill my cup. So that's a number 10. Now, number 11, getting into today. So I woke up so grateful that I, took a shower just to come back to myself. I was feeling very unattached from my foundation. The shower really helped. And then I got my makeup all done today, and I just feel very beautiful, and this is exactly what I wanted, just very like neutral. Like, I always like enhancing my features. I don't think I'm someone that needs makeup to feel beautiful, but I genuinely enjoy using makeup to enhance my own beauty. And I think I'm glad that for women that this is becoming more of a trend where women are recognizing like you don't need makeup to feel beautiful. It's just like every person has a unique beauty, and so how do you enhance that? But also this jacket, so warm. Okay, the guy's just sitting there. But anyway, so where was I? Okay, yeah. So 11, makeup, got myself together. And then 12, I was like, all right, I'm going to go get myself breakfast. And the place I originally wanted to get to was closed, which is why we have Dunkin' Donuts here. And so, so grateful I got breakfast. But number 13, I was in the drive-thru and the lady was like, do you want for a free donut? I thought she said a donut. And I was like, sure. And she goes, mixed? And I was like, is she talking about coffee? I was like, mixed? And she goes, yeah. And I was like, and I just decided in my brain to roll with it, because sometimes my hearing, sometimes I feel like I don't hear English. Sometimes words come in, and it might just be a processing disorder. I think my mom might have had something similar where it's like someone can be talking English to me, and then all of a sudden it sounds like they're speaking a foreign language, and I know it's just me. And then it takes a second for my brain to like unscramble the words. And so I was sitting there and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I heard the word mixed, but I don't understand. And so this lady, but I know that she's trying to do something nice for me, so I'm just going to say yes. And I'm just going to trust it's going to work out. So I'm sitting there, and then they hand me my food, and all of a sudden they hand me this giant box through the window. They gave me a dozen donuts for free. So when she was saying mix, she meant like, do you want a variety of donuts? And I just was like, oh my God, I got free donuts. The day's great. So I'm going to share it with my roommates. I don't need that many donuts, but how does that happen? But yes, please, more of this. So I got a box of free donuts, and I was vibing with my music. And number 14, grateful for my music. They've all been just absolute like energetic bangers. And I was like, I'm going to go on a drive. I'm going to drink my drink. I'm going to eat my food. I'm going to go on a drive. And then I pictured this place that has forest, and it's a place that people can go to ride, which is where I'm at currently. And there's just this one tree there that I wasn't able to find last time. So I'm just going to take a walk, ground within myself. Oh, and the child within me was so happy. And so I'm going to do this, and that's going to give me energy and sustain me for the rest of the day. And I know that I'm just going to be in such a good place to finish out the content, and it's not going to take from me. I poured a lot in yesterday, but it's not going to take from me today because I'm doing this for myself. Number 15. I'm so excited to go on this walk. So I'm going to eat, obviously, as I'm talking with you guys, but I was just so excited that I had to share. So, grateful for the walk. Number 16, because we're going to 20. 20 for the new year. 16. I'm grateful for scents. I decided there's this other perfume I normally don't wear. I was like, I'm going to put that on today. And you know when you use something new, you just keep smelling it and it smells so good, and it just, every once in a while you just get like a whiff and it's really nice. I appreciate myself today. Today and every day. Number 17. I'm grateful that I am really striving to do everything that I say that I'm going to do within the day. So the things that I needed to do yesterday, complete content. My goal was to complete all of January, but that kind of shifted because I was on such a roll. I was like, I'm going to get every single month's visual set up, and I'm going to do today, the 1st, because then if I only do the 1st, I'm going to have to revisit it to at least schedule the 2nd, and then I'll just fly through it, which is exactly what's going to happen today. So getting content done was yesterday. I needed to call my brother and my aunt, which I called both. My brother was even more tired than I was. Everyone seems to be really tired lately. So tired, sick, run down. A lot of stuff is leaving us with this 2024. 2025 is going to be a very lighter, enlightened year. I can feel it. And I know it's going to be a really good year for myself. So that's, so called my brother, called my aunt. By the time my aunt was ready to talk, I was just in content, and I was like, I'll call you tomorrow. So that's one thing I have to do today. The other thing, I needed to cook the chicken, and I realized I wasn't going to be able to eat it all in the time that it would take for it to retain, being fine to eat. So I ended up making soup, so I did that, and I messaged one of my clients. So all of that was taken care of. And I will say those were probably too many things to commit to and doing for the day. So just trying to be very conscious that I only take on one, maybe two things. So today, I'm calling my aunt back, and I'm doing content. And I don't think I'm going to set anything else for the day for myself. And then we'll see where we get with that. What number were we even on? See, this is what, I feel like I have like a crumb. This is what happens. There it is. We start going and then I forget what number. Let me think about that for a second. I think we're on 14, 15, 16. I think we're on 17. So 17. I'm grateful I got a walk in yesterday because it was so cold and it was raining. So I just managed to get a little window between the rain. It was but I love the rain. It lended to such a peaceful day, and today it's like overcast and kind of gloomy, which I greatly enjoy that because it just makes me feel cozy and like we're keeping our energy levels contained and calm. Number 18. Going back to 17 for a second, I am very grateful, or 16, whichever. They get to talk to my aunt today because I have so much to go over with her. She's my sounding board for a lot of like what I go through. And same thing me for her. Is this guy still sitting there? I don't know. Maybe he's just doing his own thing. So 19 for the day. I'm grateful I have time to get organized. So usually I do kind of set up my day and what I'm going to like roll through. But I was doing content so late, I was like, I'm going to do it in the morning. And when I got up, I did something for me. And then I took a shower, got myself ready, like nourished myself, literally nourished myself with food. And then, went to nourish myself with nature. So I'm very grateful that after that, I'm going to figure out what I want the rest of my day to look like. I think I haven't decided if I want to do content around other things or if I'm just gonna, tackle it all at once. We'll see. And 20 for the day. I'm grateful for creativity. Okay, so I'm a very vivid dreamer. And see, like, you can see him. I'm like trying not to look and just let him drive by. But I'm also waiting. Okay. He's heading out. That's not the first time I've seen a cop here, but it's been a really long time. Anyways, so I'm a very vivid dreamer. I write a lot of my dreams down too, because when I go back and read them, I'm like, wow, that could be a movie or a book series. And there has been, I'll tell you guys this, there has been a book series that I started writing when I was in high school. And I haven't got a chance to go back to yet. And now there's this new book series, or maybe there's other characters within that series that I was dreaming about. So I want to publish these. I just feel like they would be really good. And I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I'm an even better writer than what I was. I think my strong suit is in descriptive detail and like really making you feel like you're in the book. But I wouldn't say that I'm a well-rounded writer in the sense that I do think that there's a lot of people like fantasy, like Sarah J. Maas, Rebecca Yarros. They are incredibly talented when it comes to writing. I don't know if I had that full skill set. I do think it can be developed, but I do think I'm at least on the level of creativity and seeing these stories in my head and just, I want somebody else to experience them. So I think that's something that I'm gonna put for the new year. So grateful for creativity. And one of the things I really want to do today for myself, I like planning out my year now. And I think I'm going to get even more intentional, more clear about it this year. There's so much I want to accomplish in my life, that organizing myself around it is actually very helpful. But I will tell you guys the words for this year. So remember when I was telling you, for those of you who have been with me for a long time, the words I was thinking about using for this year were fulfilled dreams. But instead, I'm going to link that to something else. And the words for this year are goddess era. And goddess era, fulfilled dreams is part of that. Like, I want this to be the year where I just unapologetically and so authentically and so powerfully step into the life that I really want to live, that fantasy life that just beautiful things for myself and being so intentional with how I can assist and pour out into others and make my mark on the world. In some ways I think I'm already doing that, but like the fact that I haven't even wrote a lot of what's in my mind down yet, and I have more direct and clear paths than I ever had before. I'm really excited. So I think books are probably going to be a part of that. I think I built myself into my life plan from a creativity aspect, but I think one of the reasons why I didn't dive deeper into those dreams is one, because I actually had to get very clear about who I was and step into my own power as myself. But the other reason is I think my business, it wasn't as authentic as I wanted it to be. And now that I have no problem sharing certain aspects of myself that I don't mind sharing with people one-on-one, but presenting myself to the world like that, I think it took a little bit for me to get to that point where I just don't care. Like, it's me. I'm either for you or I'm not. And that's not to say that with any malice, any negativity. It's more of just like, I can only be myself in this life. And by me stepping into my authenticity and my power and my true self, whatever that means for you, there are going to be people that see that, and it's going to empower them to the point to do the same for themselves. So I'm not diminishing myself anymore. I'm not being someone who I'm not, or I'm not masking who I am anymore. That's a better way of putting it. So stories. I just feel called to go back to writing those stories. And that's kind of exciting. It's really exciting, actually, because it feels nourishing to me. And while I don't think those stories are going to be published next year, I do think I'm going to get really clear about the end destination for those stories. We'll see. The one thing about being a writer, I see a lot of the storyline in my head. So the first book series that I have been writing, that's like a 5-book series. And I have in my head about maybe 1 to 3 books. The other series that I was thinking about today that I don't know if those characters are going to be interrelated or different, I think I can maybe make 1 or 2 at the moment. But that's also supposed to be a long series. So I don't know if this is something other writers just get confident with when you're starting out. And after you've written for a little bit, and it just comes naturally to you for it to continue to just pour out. But one of the things that stressed me out when I was writing my story is like, if this ever got picked up, usually the expectation is that you're going to write more books. But I think I have to just be really clear with myself of like, I don't do well with expectations because I'm such a free-flowing person. So I can think about it like I can make the expectations what I would desire. And that doesn't mean that I have to immediately put forth another book, and yet like I should step in and be in my power and be able to negotiate that. So it's something that I've been thinking about lately. So anyways, I'm just, oh man, we'll do it number 21. I'm just so relieved. I'm in such a good energy. I'm in a good mood. I'm in my joy. I'm in my peace. I have, listen guys, this is what I'm looking at right now. Just woods. There's a river birch that is calling my name that I must find in that forest again. I just don't remember which path it's on. There's a lot of different trails. I haven't even been on all of them, but I came across years and years ago with one of my friends this beautiful river birch tree. It had like this really crazy, like warped trunk and everything, and the energy pouring up the tree was just so pure, so divine, so just grounding. And that's what I thought of today when I was driving. I actually didn't start out with this destination in mind, but we'll see if we find it. If not, it's okay. And it is windy out, so I don't know how long I'm going to be going out into nature. But anyways, okay, so those are the gratitudes of the day. The message. Here's the message of the day, or the thing that's going to be around. Have you ever heard the quote, "There's no rest for the wicked"? Or, there was another one that stuck out in my head, and I think my brain flipped it so that I could actually see the message in a different way to give to you guys. But or like, rest is for the wicked. I think that's what I originally thought of. Rest is for the wicked. But I think the original quote is, "There is no rest for the wicked." Don't even remember where that comes from. I should have Googled it before the video, but what I want to impart on you guys is really be conscious about the subliminal messaging that you get consistently throughout the entire day. And yourself is actually included in this. The thoughts that you rethink to yourself. So one of the reasons why I don't really, I think, gravitate to a lot of music is because the messages in the music are never aligned with the type of life that I want. It provides good music, but it's a lot of heartbreak, or a lot of getting back at somebody, or a lot of like, this is happening to me and I'm not in my power, or you have a good life, or you have something good and it's taken from you, or it leaves, or, and I'm not downplaying the importance and the impact of music. But what I am saying is, for someone who is very emotionally sensitive, and also if you're trying to cultivate a certain life, the amount of clarity that you can give yourself, and the amount that you can clean up your own thoughts and keep them clean, and by clean I mean healthy for you and directed in the ways you want to go, and your brain as a tool for you instead of being programmed by everything else around you. When you start stepping back from a lot of that stuff, you start looking at how you can be psychologically inundated or underneath something and not even realize it, and having certain things reaffirmed to you. If you want to take this a step further, and this isn't supposed to be about music, but just using that because it's a really clear example, there are certain, I think you can look videos of this up, but there are certain tones and frequencies that can be consciously put in music to make you feel a certain emotion. Let's even take out the words. There's certain frequencies and tones that will make you feel a certain way. That's why I think you'll see videos around a lot of like EDM, and because like tonalities, and like there are certain, I think Kanye had a video about this that I saw somewhere, but essentially there could be a tone in music and you would just never know as well, because it's overlaid with other things. And I think because, again, I'm just very energetically sensitive, a lot of I react to music so strongly that it's really hard for me to listen to a variety of music unless I'm like really grounded in myself. But when you're grounded in yourself, you'll interact with it in a different way. So the words we tell ourselves, also think about, there's just the concept in the sentence, there's no rest for the wicked. Now what that's talking about is like, if you sin, if you do bad deeds, if you are going down a path that's unhealthy for you, you're not going to have rest, you're not going to have peace, because it's not for you. But also be very conscious of the fact that rest in wicked, or rest in, whatever negative connotation in a sentence, is also reaffirming to yourself and your brain that you are not worthy of rest. Because I don't think there's a single person on this planet that thinks that they are just 100% perfect, or that they don't have an aspect of themselves that they have difficulty accepting. They might be at peace with it, but each person still has things that they need to work through. So what I'm saying is, be so aware of words and the power and the value of words, not just spoken to you, but spoken over you, spoken about you, that you reaffirm and reloop to yourself. Because we think that getting out from underneath certain areas of life, or certain struggles or situations, it's like once we're out of them, then physically out of them, or they're not in our environment or in our peripherals, that we're good. But that's not the case. A lot of it also has to do with you identifying how you've taken things and created those own thought loops, those own emotional loops. So something that I'm getting very intentional about, for example, a line I have for myself, I don't really consume a lot of news. Or even a harder line, I don't watch news stations. Not because I don't want to be informed, not because I don't want to know what's going on. There are other ways that I can get that information. But because when I was growing up as a child, the minute a TV station was on, I recognized there was a direct correlation to me feeling really depressed. They could be talking about a happy topic, but it was just like the feel of it was just this low vibration, or just depression that just kind of consisted, so that even when they reached the happy points, I just felt so heavy and burdened and sluggish. And so I don't want that for my life. That helps me in no way, shape, or form. And again, this is just me. But there are probably other things in life that you recognize those correlations, and your body is sending you those signals. So for me to do the best, or for me to do the amount of good and impact that I want to do in the world, I have certain lines and boundaries to help me easily be the person that I want to be, with my energy, with my thoughts, with my emotions, with my mentality, with my intentions. And so if something doesn't align, even in the slightest, I'm really okay not engaging with it. And, that might not even be my area of focus. I mean, I already know it's not. But for somebody else, I have my friend John, he is really into debate, and especially political debate, and just the engagement with that, and it energizes him and it fires him up. I can appreciate it from a psychological standpoint. I'm very much about the psychological aspect to life. That is one of my strong suits, and somewhere that I do dive into. But I wouldn't say that political debate would be my first pick. But for him, I can recognize he is an incredibly strong communicator. He is someone who is very clear and strong and direct in his messaging, and that environment fits him. But again, all is to say, recognize the power of words, recognize the power of your thoughts, and start striving to identify the underlying current in everything that you're consuming. let me give you another example. Especially in the US, we have a lot of varying degrees of thoughts between the rich, the corporations, the powers over, and the powers under, which is, pretty much everyone else. So even just putting yourself in that aspect of power under, you are taking your own power away and putting yourself at a disadvantage. And so how can you retain your power and make the best moves you possibly can? The other thing too is start changing your mindset. Something I always look at in any situation is for example, the whole going back to work in the office. If you're just thinking about it from a standpoint of power under, you're angry and you're gonna be at a place where you're they just don't want to give up their power when it comes to being over employees, or there's distrust, or whatever the story is between you and the powers over when it comes to your job. And sure, that might be true, and probably is. But the other thing to think about from a mindset of someone in power is, if you took the entirety of the country and how many buildings are for corporate leases, or just leased spaces so that way you can utilize them from a business perspective, not warehouse leasing. The effects of having those empty spaces and not utilizing them and being in long-term contracts are so great that the message provided sometimes is, we want people back for, corporate culture. We do want them in the office because, there is distrust, but the power over the person in power, really it's a financial move. So when you can start stepping yourself back and start seeing the multi-dimensional layers to something for yourself, you get to make more informed and conscious choices. But when you go through life and you don't look for the subliminal undercurrent or overcurrent of what you're consuming, you are always going to be in a position where your power and your energy and your life is outside yourself. And you're going to be so emotionally attached and connected to things because of that reason. And again, with all these examples, there's not really a right or a wrong, because, multiple perspectives on that. But it's more of, again, going back to my other message, one of the most powerful messages I gave you guys yesterday is, what do you want to think? What do you want your life to be? How do you feel about, where you're at, and, what level of subconscious programming are you okay with? It's a weird question to ask yourself, but if you don't want to do all of the conscious work, I think that's okay too. But it's also an acceptance of certain things that come with not doing a lot of that conscious work. And, this helps too for getting out of other situations. And we have a long video today, but first of the year. Let me give you another more, I would say, normal, not power over, power under of extremes, but divorce. So divorce is it's a transformation. A lot of times it's a very, very harsh transformation. But with divorce, you still have that power over, power under, the power struggle dynamic, but it's not as extreme because, both people are on similar playing grounds usually. And so the thing is, the person who is able to do this work and understand and identify the undercurrents of the situation and how that's impacting them and how they are connected to it is the person that is going to process through it faster, be released from it sooner, and be less harshly impacted than the other. And kind of regardless of dynamics in the situation too. Because you retain a lot of your power. You don't let your power be so entangled in what's going on. All roads lead back to self. So, like, even, for example, I had a relationship end now last year. And I had a lot of my own entanglement that I needed to work through. But the most healthy choice I have ever made for myself is before things even got to that point, I had fully committed to myself that no matter what, I was healing myself. And of course, that comes back to you. That comes back to your thoughts, your power, what life you want. And sometimes things don't work out the way that we want to. But if you can maintain and stay connected to your power and let all that subliminal overcurrents kind of pass by, you're going to free and untangle yourself, and then you're basically unstoppable at that point. And again, has nothing to do really with the external circumstances. It has more to do with you're not having to work through subliminal programming and things that people are sending you. You instead can make a more free will choice. We always have free will, but it's the difference between making a conscious free will choice and the difference between making a free will choice, but you're almost making it due to everything you are reacting to, not sitting here, and when you see something come in or something that's starting to pass you by, deciding how you think, feel, and want to engage with that. So, to start out the new year, just, if you want to, make a choice to more consciously dissect and look at the information that's coming at you. The hardest ones are the societal ones. I'll give you another, I'm about to be 31. And in the 30s, people are like, when are you getting married? When are you having kids? When, take the kid one, right? If you hadn't worked through this subliminal undercurrent of biologically, our bodies want to procreate, but then the overcurrent of society is telling you should do this, otherwise it's weird. Otherwise you're not normal, you're not part of the norm, it's almost like, even for the people who have decided not to have kids, it's like they have to have a list of reasonings and justifications in order to make it okay. So if you haven't gone through that work, you're not going to be able to have a more conscious choice of what you want your life design to look like, whether it's kids or not kids, and how they interact with it, versus feeling all of that pressure and almost kind of giving into the pressure in some ways and giving your power to it, because that's just what is such a strong programming. So I think I've gone on about this for quite a while now. I can't believe I'm almost at an hour for the video. But anyways, if you've stuck with me up until this point, appreciate you. Hope it was helpful. Affirmation time, and then we're gonna go. But Number 1, as always, I'm divinely guided and supported. I can ask for help whenever I need it. I humbly ask for help today. Number 2, I love myself deeply, fully, and completely, and I see this reflected back to me throughout the entirety of my day. In every single way that the universe wants to affirm that. Number 3, miracles and blessings are a common occurrence. My deepest desires are brought forth in life, and I deeply desire more of all of that. Number 4, I'm healed and healthy, and I go through life making the most healthy, conscious choices I can for myself. Number 5, I am freaking powerful. I am empowered, and I am powerfully co-creating my present reality and enjoying it and living in fun and fulfillment. Number 6, I think that's 6 for the day. I'm not going to stress. Everything is always being worked out for my ultimate good. I get to just engage, enjoy, and have fun and breathe easily and deeply in the sanctuary of bliss, peace, and protection that I have for myself. Number 7 for the day. Nothing that is for me I'm ever going to have to try in. It comes to me easily and allows me to just remain standing in my love and joy. Number 8, I am so full of love and joy that it pours out into my life and onto everyone around me, and I receive it back tenfold and kind in turn. Number 8, what a beautiful day to be alive. Let's claim the day, our accomplishments, what we want to experience, and appreciate the fact that we are alive and we get to engage with all of this. Number 9 for the day. I'm safe, nurtured, cared for. And I choose again, and I choose better for myself. I choose what most aligns with my unfathomable worth and value. And 10 for the day. I just saw a blue jay. I'm free. I'm 100% free. That is all for today, guys. I love you all so much. What are you grateful for? What are you affirming? How are you doing? What did you think about the message? What are you doing for the first day of the new year? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys for tomorrow's video. Bye, everyone.